Well, the way I got to Auburn was different than most other students, I think. I had applied for and had received this scholarship from the United States Air Force. And they got to select not only what school they were going to send me to for the scholarship, but they also picked my major. So I was told fundamentally that I would be going to Auburn and that I'd be studying electrical engineering, and I had to graduate within 3 years. Well, as I neared graduation, I found out that the National Security Agency was interviewing on campus. And so I decided on a lark to go meet with that recruiter in hopes that maybe I could convince them to intervene and get in touch with the Air Force. He went back to Washington and worked some magic and got me assigned to the National Security Agency after graduation. I was very fortunate, and my timing was absolutely perfect because the National Security Agency was in the midst of a multi-billion-dollar transition from analog circuitry and analog electronics into the digital electronics, something that I knew a lot about and most of the people that I was working with at the time knew very little about. So they ended up turning over some really important projects to me as a very young officer. I spent 3.5 years at the National Security Agency learning a lot of the mission. I was also discovered by an unacknowledged government organization called the National Reconnaissance Office. It was an organization that no one even knew existed unless you were in the organization. And they were charged with building America's most technologically advanced space and satellite programs. I worked at the National Reconnaissance Office for about 6 years, and it turns out that the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, is also one of the members of the National Reconnaissance Organization. So the CIA recruited me to leave the National Reconnaissance Office and come to work on the staff of the director of the CIA. At the end of that tour, I was 39 years old, and I decided to retire from the Air Force. I started my second career at SITOR in 1994, and maybe the easiest way to think about SITOR is SITOR was the technology assessment department of the federal intelligence agencies. It turns out the culture that I experienced at Auburn, that comes from the creed, believing in work and hard work, and believing in your fellow man and loving your country. Really, SITOR is a mirror image of all those experiences and that feeling of family and taking care of each other. I was there for 21 years, and during that period, I actually led the sale of the company 3 different times. And on the third one of the things that I wanted to do was I really wanted to retire. I did not want to continue working again, and I wanted to actually go back and reconnect with other things. I've done a lot of pro bono work for former colleagues and friends, one of whom actually asked me to join the Donald J. Trump campaign as one of his national security advisors. And so I ended up developing a lot of the plans and the first 100 days of what the president was going to do once he was inaugurated. In my career, I've always been an advisor, and one of the things that I think worked for me was really about being able to recognize when there's an opportunity and seizing the opportunity when I call it the opportunity window opens. And when it opens, you better jump through feet first and grab the opportunities when they present themselves and go forward.